CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Najahe Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Off the top, we are following new developments after a boat wreck in Miami. Chopper 4 was over the scene. It happened near Black Point Park and Marina. That's along Southwest 87th Avenue and Coconut Palm Drive. 3 people were flown to the hospital. We're going to have the very latest on the story tonight at 5.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look outside, a nice shot, but we are tracking showers and storms and the possibility of even flooding headed our way. Let's get right to Next Weather meteorologist Cindy Pressler. Cindy, what's the situation?
We are not done with this very soggy pattern that is sitting over South Florida. It's really not going to change for the next few days. So more showers and thunderstorms, heavy rain possible with localized flooding. We saw a little bit in Broward County this afternoon, and the king tides are starting to kick in. So that means saltwater flooding along the coast areas. We're going to have to watch for that all the way through the weekend into next Tuesday. So at this point, we still have a few showers and storms left over. A little bit busy route on the west side of the state. You'll notice the movement is from south to north. We're still getting that strong southerly push. We did have a flood advisory up here from Weston, Davie down to Pembroke Pines. That has since been canceled. That was up until 5 o'clock. We picked up a lot of rain there, 1 to 3 inches. We still have some runoff there, so be careful. If the roads are covered with water, turn around, don't drown. Never drive onto a flooded road. So that still is a possibility. Then this little shower still around Sweetwater down to the Hammocks, Kendall area, trying to make its way to the north. Some moderate rain there. We don't have any lightning showing up. A lot of these storms are starting to die off now at this hour. But again, we talked about those king tides. This is the time of the year. We have a full moon coming up on Friday. It's called the harvest moon. And because of that gravitational pull from the moon and the sun, our tides tend to be higher. So there could be some saltwater flooding all the way down through the Keys. You got to watch for that. You know, those favored spots that always go underwater at this time of the year. Temperature now has dropped to 85 degrees. High today so far has been 91. That is above average for this time of the year, but because there's so much moisture, it still feels like 102 in Homestead, 101 in Marathon. Feels like right there at the century mark in the Key West area. So even though we've had some rain, to drop that down temporarily, those temperatures will go back up. Now, our model guidance, our computer model guidance, our rain tracker really is having a tough time kind of figuring out what's going in the atmosphere here because there's so moisture. Anytime during the day, even overnight, you could find some scattered showers and storms for the next few days. The timing on this, moving from south to north, that's going to continue to be the case. And then by the afternoon, these showers and storms tend to drift toward the metro areas, toward the coastal areas. But tomorrow again, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to see a lot of rain out there. And again, that flooding potential will be quite high. Rain chances, we're going to keep it at about 60% and run that through Saturday at this point. Front comes through this weekend. That'll drop the rain chances, but anywhere from 2 to 4 inches, very easily we can pick that up. Forecast tomorrow, look at this, almost any time during the day. Temperatures will top out. This time we're going to keep it in the 80s, not 90s. A little bit more cloud cover, kind of a milky sky today, more of the same tomorrow. So that should hold those temperatures down just a bit, but look at that. You're going to need that umbrella almost any time during the day tomorrow, and that goes all the way into the weekend as well. So here's your forecast. High tomorrow, let's go for 89 degrees. Same thing on Thursday and Friday. Saturday, push it up just slightly to 90, and then a little bit drier air Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week with temperatures back in the lower 90s.
All right, a good reminder to keep those umbrellas handy. Thank you, Cindy. A tragic situation in North Miami. A 10-year-old was shot and killed. CBS News Miami's Peter Dinch has the story.
For the second time this week in Miami-Dade County, a child has been shot. This time, the North Miami police chief says a 10-year-old boy died after a self-inflicted gunshot wound at a home. She said there was no foul play, but this is an open investigation. She has a lot of questions. And she said the gun was registered to the father, who was home at the time with the child. The chief is also very outspoken about this case.
This is a tragic incident that we don't want to see anybody in our community go through. This is an incident that can certainly be avoided if we practice safe storage of firearms, especially where children are involved.
The North Miami police chief says this case will be reviewed by the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office for possible charges. Coming up at 6 tonight, we will hear from the state attorney. In Miami, Peter Natch, CBS News, Miami.
Peter, thank you. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement is investigating a deadly police shooting. Investigators say it began with a carjacking. The vehicle was spotted in the area of Northwest 32nd Avenue. That's just south of State Road 112. When officers tried to stop it, the suspects fired at the officers and then took off in the car. The driver lost control and crashed. One person in the vehicle was struck by a bullet. He was rushed to the hospital and later died. 2 other suspects were taken into custody. No officers were hurt. One man is dead following a triple shooting in Miami. It happened in the area of Southwest 14th Avenue and 6th Street. Police identified the man as 29-year-old Boris Lone. The 2 victims were rushed to Jackson Memorial Hospital in stable condition. No word yet on what led to the shooting. Now at 4. Terrifying video captured the moment someone threw 2 molotov cocktails at the Cuban embassy in Washington, D.C. You can see in the right corner of the screen, someone lights them up and then throws them right there. This happened Sunday. Officials say no significant damage was done and no one was hurt. So far, no arrests have been made. President Biden joined the picket line in Michigan today. He's standing in solidarity with auto workers 12 days after they went on strike. CBS News Miami's Skylar Henry reports from the White House.
President Biden stood with striking auto workers on the picket lines in Michigan Tuesday, telling them they saved the auto industry back in 2008.
Gave up a lot, and the companies were in trouble. But now they're doing incredibly well. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well, too.
He was joined by United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain.
Thank you, Mr. President, for coming. Thank you for coming to stand up with us in our generation's defining moment.
The UAW has been on strike against Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis for 12 days now. Among other things, workers are seeking a 36% raise over 4 years, and they want to extend union protections to workers at 10 electric vehicle battery factories.
I'm helping to get these younger generation a good pay.
President Biden calls himself the most pro-union president ever. His trip comes one day before former president and 2024 GOP frontrunner Donald Trump is set to speak with auto workers himself in Michigan.
President Biden, Mr. Trump, either way, they have a right to come.
As the strike expands, the economic impacts are already being felt. Ford announced Monday it would pause work on a $3.5 billion electric vehicle plant in Michigan. And some automotive suppliers in the state are warning that layoffs may soon be necessary. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
The UAW president called Ford's halting of work, quote, shameful. Stay with us. More news when we come back. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. On the Health Watch, September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And while those who have it often feel a lot of pain, millions have the trait and don't even know it. CBS News Miami's Lauren Pastrana has more.
Eric and Emmanuel play video games together like most brothers do. They also spend a lot of time together at Broward Health Medical Center getting treatment for sickle cell disease.
Usually my chest hurts and my throat because it feels like I can't breathe.
Okay, they look like they're all right, but really they're not all right. They're suffering in the inside.
Yona Tribulant is the boy's mother. She has the sickle cell trait, and so does her daughter.
So sickle cell anemia is a blood disorder that affects the red blood cells, and the red blood cells are those little cells that carry oxygen through the body, and it gives you energy. And when you have sickle cell anemia, it causes this deformation of the cells.
Emmanuel used to get monthly transfusions to prevent strokes. His mother is always monitoring for fevers and managing their pain they sometimes try to hide.
I try to hold it in most times, but sometimes I just have to go.
And so it becomes a very isolating thing because they themselves feel very different, but they don't want to broadcast that.
On Monday, Broward Health hosted its second annual Living Well with Sickle Cell Luncheon to honor the patients who've been through so much and raise awareness for the disease. and for people like Yolna Tribulant to share their lessons with others.
As a mother, I just had to stay strong for my kids. So I just basically managed day by day to take care of my kids with this chronic illness.
Lauren Pastrana, CBS News, Miami.
There is no cure for sickle cell disease and limited treatment options. You can be tested to find out if you have the trait, and that is why healthcare providers offer the screening to expectant parents. Many businesses suffered during the pandemic, but the golf industry saw a surge. CBS News Miami's Wendy Gillette explains why.
A driving range inside a beer garden, 2 18-hole courses, a lighted 10-hole short course, and a 2-acre putting course under an enormous big screen. It's all part of the $500 million Omni PGA Frisco Resort outside Dallas, which opened in May.
Golf is one of the key components of the resort. We have the PGA of America located here on the campus.
That mile-long campus also has plenty of non-golf features like a 20 treatment room spa and 13 restaurants. But the resort is capitalizing on golf's growing popularity, which saw a major upswing during COVID.
We brought so many people to the game of golf, and they enjoyed it, and they're staying.
The National Golf Foundation says in 2021, as the pandemic surged, the number of rounds played in the U.S. set a record. About 1 in 7 Americans hit the greens last year, according to the American Golf Industry Coalition. Now the game is driving many Americans to travel overseas to play. Richie McClarty is from the Hilton Head, South Carolina area and journeyed to the island of Islay in Scotland to try the links at the Macri.
It's a culture. I mean, you see ladies rolling a bassinet with their baby in it while they're playing a golf course. You don't see that in the U.S.
There are more than 550 golf courses here in Scotland, the country where the game was invented 6 centuries ago.
Scotland's the home of golf, and everybody wants to come here and play our golf courses.
At the beachfront Macri, one of the hotels we stayed at for a special rate, sheep wander the property, occasionally parking themselves on the driving range. An unusual sight for Americans, but here it's par for the course. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Islay, Scotland.
Thank you for joining us.